Assalamu alaikum dear students. I welcome all to my zoology class for 12th standard. This is an online initiative during this pandemic period from Elden Breeze Coaching Academy. Here we are going to highlight some of the basic concepts of class 12th, that is an introduction to mammalian reproductive system. When I say mammalian reproductive system, the first thing that you should note down is that mammals include a group of those organisms that have mammary glands, first point, second point, that have body hairs, and the third point, some additional characters, features, for example, the presence of diaphragm. Okay, in this mammalian group, one organism that I remain confined to is humans, because the first unit in class 12 is human reproduction or mammalian reproduction. The more focus is on humans. When I start my topic like this, humans include males as well as females. And in our first lecture, we have heard, or we may know right now, that males contain male sex organs and females contain female sex organs. Okay. Let me compile the fact by saying that human beings, irrespective of sex, male or female, contain primary sex organs, contain secondary sex organs, and both males and females have accessory or secondary sex characters. सबसे पहले I am going to highlight what primary sex organs mean. Okay, you know, male has special structures or special glands called testicles, and female has special structures called ovaries. Simultaneously, you people know that testicles are responsible for sperm production and ovaries are responsible for egg production. In case of humans, these testes and ovaries are the primary sex organs. The first function of primary sex organs is the formation of gametes. Here, male gametes and female gametes. I mean to say sperms and eggs. But this is not the only function of testicles and ovaries, that testes will undergo spermatogenesis and will produce sperms. Simultaneously, ovary will undergo oogenesis and will produce eggs. But testes and ovaries are actually the special glands. They have another different function. That is, testes and ovaries produce special signaling molecules, and these signaling molecules are actually known as hormones. In class 11th endocrinology, you might have heard the very familiar terms like testosterone and estrogen. Or when I say estrogen, I mean to say beta estradiol. Testosterone and estrogen. These are the hormones produced from our primary sex organs, which are the testes and the ovaries. Now, before going to mammalian reproduction, I want to take you to class 11th. In class 11th, we have studied, let us suppose this be the nervous system. When I draw a diagram of a nervous system here, I will confine myself to brain and spinal cord. I will restrict to these terms, brain and spinal cord. When you analyze the brain and spinal cord, you both know, both are collectively known as central, both form your central nervous system. As far as the brain is concerned, your brain is divided into several parts. You have heard from class 9th onwards, and in 11th you have studied something called forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. When I say forebrain, prosencephalon, midbrain, mesencephalon, hindbrain, rhombencephalon. इसे फोर ब्रेन में एक इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट पढ़ाया जाता है. फोर ब्रेन का एक स्पेशल रीजन है, फोर ब्रेन का एक स्पेशल पार्ट है, दैट वी कॉल डायनसेफेलॉन. डायनसेफेलॉन. Diencephalon is a special structure of our brain that is studied under forebrain. What actually is, there is a special region in my brain that I call epithalamus. Followed by epithalamus, there is another region that I call thalamic nuclei. After thalamic nuclei, there is another part. This part, the third part, I call hypothalamus. Epithalamus, thalamus, and hypothalamus. Attached with the hypothalamus, is a very unique structure. This unique structure is known as pituitary gland. If this is hypothalamus, hypothalamus के साथ attached है एक खास किस्म का structure. That very special structure is known as pituitary gland. And pituitary gland and hypothalamus are linked together by pituitary stalk, or you call infundibulum. Epithalamus, thalamus and hypothalamus, all the three are included in diencephalon. Now, it is this hypothalamus that produces special signaling molecules, or that produce special hormones, or that produce special information molecules. Hormones, for example, GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone. When these hormones are produced from the neurosecretory cells of your neurons, from the hypothalamus, then these hormones stimulate the pituitary gland, and from the pituitary gland, especially from the anterior lobe of your pituitary gland, special types of hormones are produced. These hormones are known as gonadotropins. Special type of hormones are produced and secreted or discharged from the anterior lobe of your pituitary gland. This anterior lobe of pituitary gland you may call adenohypophysis. इसी से निकल जाते हैं special hormones. These hormones are known as gonadotropins. The most familiar gonadotropins that you have heard in class 11th, FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, LH, luteinizing hormone. Now, these gonadotropins, which are produced from the pituitary gland, are then discharged into blood. When they are discharged into the blood, from the blood they are transported. Blood is the best transportation medium. Blood helps in the transportation. When gonadotropins are produced from the anterior lobe pituitary gland, they are then discharged into the blood, and blood takes them to the target organ. Here the target organ I am making are the testicles or the testes, and second target organ for these hormones FSH and LH I am drawing are the ovaries. These. ovaries. Gonadotropins actually stimulate male testicles, male testes and female ovaries. When these are stimulated, when these structures are stimulated, only then from the testicles testosterone is produced, and only then from the ovaries female sex hormones, or you may call estrogen, is synthesized, or estradiol is synthesized. Have a quick recapitulation. Till now we have learned is that Almighty has bestowed us a special area in our forebrain. That part we call Diencephalon. Diencephalon includes basically the three structures of our brain. The first part is epithalamus, second is the thalamus or thalamic nuclei, third is the hypothalamus. Attached with the hypothalamus is a stalk-like structure that is called infundibulum. With this infundibulum is attached another structure is known as pituitary gland. This pituitary gland has two parts, adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis. From the adenohypophysis, actually gonadotropins are formed. What I taught you till now is that hypothalamus contains special types of neurosecretory cells, special types of neurons that have the property to produce some chemical substances. So I call neurosecretory cells. From these neurosecretory cells of hypothalamus, special signaling molecules or information molecules known as hormones are produced. One example of the hormone from the hypothalamus is GnRH. When this GnRH is produced, this GnRH is then drained into the blood. This blood takes this GnRH to its target organ. GnRH was produced from hypothalamus. GnRH is a hormone produced from hypothalamus, drained into the blood, taken to anterior lobe pituitary gland. This anterior lobe pituitary gland gets activated. When the anterior lobe pituitary gland gets stimulation, this anterior lobe pituitary gland also produces its own hormones, the most important hormones which are essential for reproduction purpose. These are the FSH and LH. When these two hormones are produced, these two hormones are then discharged into the blood. From the anterior lobe pituitary gland, these two hormones are then discharged into the blood, and blood takes them to the target organ. While discussing the target organ, I have took or chose only two target organs. The first target organ is the testes, second target organ is the ovaries. This is an ovary, this is an ovary. These are just testicles of males. Only then the testes will produce male sex hormone or testosterone, and females will produce estrogen. So right now, फिलहाल हमने ये सीखा है कि in case of humans, both males as well as females, there are present primary sex organs. Sir, the primary sex organs include testicles plus ovaries. Sir, the basic function of testes is to undergo spermatogenesis and produce sperms, and the basic function of ovaries is to undergo oogenesis and produce ova or egg. Simultaneously, the second function of testosterone, the second function of primary sex organs is they produce hormones. For example, testosterone in case of males and estrogen in case of females. This is the first point, primary sex organs. Now, the second thing is humans also contain secondary sex organs. Humans also contain secondary sex organs. Secondary sex organs are the essential structures present both in males as well as in females that are used for copulation purpose. For example, copulatory organ of male. When I say copulatory organ of male, I mean to say penile structures or penis or penile structures. And in case of females, the secondary sex organs include vaginal orifice. When I say vaginal orifice, I mean a special structure or external genitalia. वो क्या होता है external genitalia? That will be discussed in detail later on. These two structures are secondary sex organs. A male copulatory organ, it does not produce sperms or it does not produce hormones. Vaginal orifice, it also does not produce any eggs or it does not produce any hormones. But still, they are very important, essential structures responsible for the copulation to occur between the two partners. उसके बाद In case of humans, there are also present. In case of humans, there are also present accessory or additional or secondary sex characters. Secondary sexual characters. Males में भी secondary sexual characters पाए जाते हैं and females में भी secondary sexual characters पाए जाते हैं. ये हमने डिस्कस किया है. In case of males, there is body hairs. You all know. Not only body hairs, in case of males, there is excessive muscular developments. When I say body hairs, I mean mustaches, auxiliary hairs, thoracic hairs, or auxiliary hairs, or pubic hairs. And there is also muscular development, excessive muscular development in case of males. There is enlargement of this structure that you call laryngeal prominence or Adam's apple. Not only this, I should say that in case of males there is thickening of vocal cords. There is thickening of vocal cords, and there is broadening of shoulders in case of males. Whereas in case of females, the additional accessory sex characters include development of mammary glands, or those you call breasts. In case of females, there is narrowing of waist, there is shrill sound, thin vocal cords, there is subcutaneous, skin के नीचे subcutaneous fat accumulation in case of females. Sir, these characters are, in case of males as well as in case of females, these characters are essential for something known as sexual dimorphism. These characters are essential for something called sexual dimorphism. When I say sexual dimorphism in a simple terminology may be defined as recognition mechanism by which opposite partner, male and a female, can be distinguished by observing the external traits. External secondary sex characters in males, external accessory sex characters in case of females. These characters are essential for recognizing the male sex as well as female sex. When we are recognizing the males and females by observing their external characters, that we call sexual dimorphism. It's a recognition process. Now, the next point.